Our first guest speaker is a seasoned higher education professional with extensive experience in teaching academic administration, and also a student mentorship. He currently serves as a director in charge of academic programs at Radford University College, where he also lectures in entrepreneurship and strategic management. Now, over the years, he has mentored numerous students and professionals. He's given them back-to-back, laurels and nuggets, and just name them. And this is making a tangible impact in our fields and beyond academic. He is also the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator for Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies, an environmental NGO committed to safeguarding Ghana's natural resources. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a very known voice on the media as well. He's a regular voice on BBC Focus on Africa, Joy News, CDFM, and other major news media platforms as well, where he passionately advocates for the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Dwomoh Sarpong as our very first speaker.
Good afternoon, and all protocol observed. Thank you, Selassie, for inviting me. When I'm invited to programs like this, it's quite tough because he gave one team, which is talented and gifted for Christ. And when our brother started, he started very well. He's almost like concluded for all of us. But in the academia, you are given maybe principles of management, strategic management, so nobody crisscross you when there's a workshop. So thank God that I'm the first speaker, so that maybe I will then veer into other people's areas where they will have nothing to say. So, yeah. So thank you. So I'm supposed to speak on making your giftings and your talent effective of use to God. And now, somebody said, I'll mention the name later, the place where God calls you is the place where your deep gladness or happiness is. And it is also the same place where the deep hunger or want of the world will also meet you. So those of you who have been lecturing entrepreneurship for years, and the golden rule is that you always make money when your talent or your ability meets demand or hunger. So anywhere God calls you in terms of your talent, your giftings, and so on and so forth, according to Frederick Buckner, he's saying that that is the same place where the need of the world will meet you. So as we move on, I think I will make some sense. So in the 1920s, a young musician named Thomas Dorsey had the kind of talent that filled rooms and halls. His fingers made pianos come alive, and crowds cheered him in Chicago's nightclubs. But though his gift brought a lot of applause to him, his soul felt empty. One night, he sensed God whispers to him, Thomas, I gave you your talent for my glory, not for the world noise. But he ignored it until tragedy struck him. He lost his wife, newborn baby during childbirth. Broken and alone, he sat at a piano and cried out to God. And out of that pain, he came out with this timeless hymn. I don't know how to sing, but probably some of you do. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, and let me stand. I don't know whether any of you is aware of that. So that one song comforted millions of people across the world, and it gave birth to gospel music as we know today. So God did not change the talent of Mr. Dorsey. but rather change his direction. And this is where my message practically began. So God is not asking you to abandon your talent and your giftings, but he's asking you to align them properly to his will. Now let's look at talent and giftings. And since I'm a teacher, we always like to give explanations. So I like us to understand the two engines of life, which is talent and gift. Now your talents are your natural abilities given at birth. For example, singing, writing, designing, leading, public speaking, and so on and so forth. Some of them can also be acquired through training. But your gift in the kingdom, this place we are talking about kingdom, we are not talking about the secular world. A gift or your gift is your supernatural empowerment given to you after you are born again. So teaching, wisdom, faith, discernment, healing, prophecy, and all that. When you're born again, then you get that gift. So we are talking in the context of the kingdom of God. The rest of the world have something else. So your talent then helps you to function in the world. But your gift helps you to transform the world. So when your talent is surrendered to the Spirit of God, it becomes a gift to the entire humanity. Albert Einstein said something which is very profound. Your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. But your gift and talent are heaven's preview of your destiny. In fact, heaven's expectation of you will be based on the talent and the giftings that you receive from God. That's what it means. Now, the golden question is, why then do people refuse to use their gifting and talents when they receive them? The first reason is fear of not being enough. So fear is the enemy of purpose, basically. Moses feared that he couldn't speak well enough. Jeremiah thought he was too young. But God doesn't choose the perfect, but he perfects the chosen. Ms. Robin said, if you wait until you are ready, you will never start. So you start with what you have, but be mindful that you develop your giftings and your talents as you move along. So you will never know what God can do through you until you step out with what is in you. The second reason why people refuse to use their talent and gifting is the idol of comparison. In this day and age on social media, somebody will post a picture, the person is preaching or teaching good. Then you would think that, oh no, I'm not good enough. So a lot of people have been silenced and destinies abandoned because probably somebody sings better than you, or you're a publisher and somebody has published, and then you read it and you say, oh no, I can't start because I'm not good as that person. So don't compare yourself to nobody. Billy Graham said, do not compare yourself with others. You are running your own race. So be mindful of that. Your uniqueness is not a weakness, but your uniqueness is God's signature of you. So never compare yourself to anybody. The third reason is the comfort of trap. So our comfort zone. So many people have mistaken convenience and comfort zones to be calling. So they are comfortable at where they are, so they never move. But growth never happens in comfort. Your gift and your talent matures only under pressure, if not too much pressure. David's slingshot skills was refined in obscurity. Joseph's administrative and all the talent that we speak so much about were developed in prisons and in difficult situations where he faced rejections, his brothers did not like him, and so on and so forth. So excellence in small things prepare you for greater ones. Denzel Washington, those of you who like watching movies, said, without commitment, you will never start. Without consistency, you will never finish. So keep pushing and you get there. Never be comfortable with what you have. Now, how do you make your gift and your talent effective for God? So I'm going to talk about just 4 steps that you can put your talent and your giftings to God. The first one is to discover them. I always tell people that people ask me, so how do somebody become entrepreneur? The first step is to decide to become one. How can you use something unless you discover it? So you have to discover your talent and your giftings first. Then you will be able to deploy it. So discover them, talent and gifting. Find what burns in you. Every gift or talent points you towards a problem you were designed to solve. So ask yourself, what brings me alive? What injustice bothers me most? What do I do naturally and joyfully? Or any of your innate abilities that you don't struggle to exhibit. Pablo Pascal said, the meaning of life is to find your gift, but the purpose of life is to give it away. So it is always important that you discover that. Your natural talent reveals what you are good at, and then your gift also reveals what you are called to change. Together, they form your life assignment. Second step, after you've discovered, then you have to develop it. So very, very important. And that is why those of us in the kingdom, we are normally ignored and despised. But if you develop your singing skills or you're a musician, how do you call this? Is it Nathan and Basi? And nobody can ignore them in the world, but they sing in the church. They are powerful. If you watch, I normally check the views of these musicians, both secular and they rate really, really high. You can never ignore them because they've developed capacity. So it is always good to develop your talent and your giftings. God cannot use what you have refused to refine. Very important. In Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29, it says that, do you see a man skilled in his work? He shall stand before kings. It's a man who is skilled. He's the only one who will stand in front of kings. Who cares about a lousy musician or a lousy workman? Nobody wants to see you. So if your talent is design, as our brother said, steady creativity, graphic design, enhance yourself, you'll be able to do more and better when you develop your designing skills. If your gift is in teaching, sharpen your understanding. You can't teach what you don't know. If you can't explain it in simple terms, they say that you don't understand it enough. Don't go and be talking about what you don't understand. If your talent is leadership, then learn influence. Because leadership is all about your ability to get people to follow you. And then empathy. You have to be forgiving. Otherwise, you can't lead people. As leaders, they get hurt more than anybody. You think you are the back there is being hurt. But after that, talk to Salasi. He will tell you what it has taken for him to do this. So even Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature. So growth and development is a principal thing. You cannot ignore it. The will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. It was said by somebody called Juma Ikanga. The way to win is not enough. You have to also get a way to prepare to win. So development is very important. Then the third step is to deploy them. So you discover your talents, your giftings, you develop them, then you deploy them. Because if after development, if it's not in use, then it's of no use. So you have to deploy them. That is serve before you shine. Service is the birthplace of significance. Jesus said, those who seek to live must first do what? Serve. So service is very, very important. So David played the harp for Saul before he ever fought Goliath or he came to prominence. So use your gift and your talent, just as our brother was saying, wherever there is a need in your church, on campus, classroom, companies, wherever you find yourself, use them. Imagine a student who designs flyers for a church, or a professional who mentors others. They may be building heaven's record of impact without even knowing. So whatever gift and talent that you have, put it into use. John Maxwell said, the gift of God is like a seed. It multiplies only when they are planted. So we have to deploy our skills and our talent. So don't wait for big opportunities. Those of you who are waiting until your pastor calls you to come and lead or preach in the church before. I mean, if you get your few friends, preach to them. Start preaching. Renes is here. He was at Radford. He was preaching at Fellowship. Now he's preaching in churches. He's a pastor. So he never gave me the opportunity to preach. So he and I was the leader, but I never preached. Every time they will preach because they know I'm not a pastor. And I was happy with them. The fourth step is to dedicate them. So you discover, you develop, you deploy, then you dedicate it to the giver of gift and talent. It's very, very important. So keep your soul sacred. Talent can make you visible, but only character keeps it valuable. Success without surrender is pride. So anything that you have, it has to be given back to God, or you have to acknowledge God. In Romans 12:1, it says, present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. So when you dedicate your skills, your creativity, talent, so on and so forth back to God, He will then breathe His power into it. And then you stop from performing. So the difference between our musicians, the musicians in the kingdom, is that they don't perform, they minister. That is why we call them ministers. So the ultimate for us is not to perform, but ours is to minister. So ministration goes far beyond just performance. So now let's look at some of the eternal weight of your gift and your talent. There's a responsibility, and you are going to account for every talent and gift that you are given. So let's see. So the parable of the talent, which is in Matthew 25:14-30, everybody knows about it. Jesus didn't judge based on how much each servant received, but what they did with it. That is the weight on all of us. So the man who buried his talent wasn't punished for theft or for rebellion, but for inaction. He was gifted but very unproductive. So he was punished for that. Emma Bombeck said, when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope I would not have any single bit of talent or gift in me. And I could say, I use everything you gave me, God. So I think that should be the wish of all of us. So heaven's question is not what you earned with the talent or the giftings that God gave you, but what you did with what was entrusted to you by God. Your talent and your gift are not trophies. They are not supposed to make you popular and give you money and all that. But they are a tool for eternal impact. That is why God gave them to us. Now, let's challenge ourselves, and our brother then did a good job with that. Let's ask ourselves, if we all use the giftings and the talent that God gave us, what will be the outcome? Imagine every young professional, all Christians in Ghana decide to serve God with excellence. Designers are turning art into stories of hope and promoting the kingdom. Entrepreneurs are using their profit to empower the church. Can you imagine? Lawyers defending justice with integrity, with fear of God, not money. Teachers shaping minds with the fear of God. Can you imagine? Scientists solving problems and acknowledging God as their source. Musicians turning sound into soul restoration and soul winning. Can you imagine? When we make our gift and talent effective for God, we don't just change our lives and ourselves, but we basically change the world and our society. And for us as Christians, this should be, as our brother said, where we work towards. So don't go and sit in the office. And I always tell people that you have to live your faith. When we used to direct students to fellowship on campus, they will come and you tell them, oh, sir, are you a Christian? Say, then join. You have to go and bring others. We have to demonstrate our faith. If we don't do that, then we cannot blame the others for all the kinds of things that they do. So we have to strive to, as it were, to live our faith. So when we are able to do all these things, then that is where, or that is what revival that we have all been talking about looks like, where we deploy our professions to honor God wherever we find ourselves. One day, we all stand before God, or the gift of our talent and our gift. And He won't ask, I believe, as why we weren't like Moses or David or Paul. But He will ask us, why weren't we, or you weren't you? The one I gifted, I think you'll be shocked. Like me, are you talking about me? Maybe you gave me more gift to Moses and David than me. But He will say, you, I equipped you and I sent you. And you may be thinking, why did you send me? You only gave me the skills to be able to design, and I designed presidents, and you said, oh, you should have designed billboards to sell me. So, my brothers and sisters, don't bury your talent. What God has placed in you, don't postpone your obedience. The world is waiting for us, your contribution, and heaven is counting on our faithfulness. So every morning, what I normally do is I say, God, I dedicate my gift and my talent to you. So use them until your glory fills wherever I find myself. And I think that should be our prayer, that God should help us, because without the grace of God, your giftings and your talents are also in need by the world, and they will direct it for you. Thank you.
A big thank you to you. Please put your hands together once again for him.